Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Red Devils Disciples. It's your boy Rob here and we are coming back after a short break off. Some technical difficulties during the Liverpool game, that really pissed me off, where we kind of missed out on the pre-match and then it wouldn't work for some reason. I wasn't sure how to connect it and then I found the solution to it. It's a bit of a dumbass, to be fair. It was a pretty simple solution, but it was what it was and I missed out. But just real big tap on the back to Man United there. What the fuck happened during that game? End-to-end stuff, non-stop. It's almost like the team turned around and said, fuck this, we're not taking this shit lying down. And all of a sudden, we're through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Moment of silence to our Liverpool fans. Sucker! I'm sure you'll be here in like a week or two trying to diss me out whenever we play again back in Old Trafford for the rematch, this time in the Premier League, and I'm sure that you guys will try and do us there. But anyways, with jokes aside, today, big game. We've got to play Brentford away from home. Chasing the top four, chasing the Champions League spot, which fifth place might be enough, although recent rulings don't look too favourable for us, so I think top four is our goal at the moment. 15th place Brentford versus 6th place Man United. I get the positions and all that, and I get this. It's a decent run of form in terms of games for us that we've had, and we've got a couple of tough ones coming up soon, including Chelsea and Liverpool. So we really need 3 points today. That's the bottom line. Stone Cold said, sorry. But going back to it, in the press conference, all the all the hype has been surrounding Kobbie Mainoo, hasn't it? And then Garnacho too. Both got their first starts for Argentina and England respectively. Both good outings, good games. And in the press conference, he was very much dominated by that. So, it was one of those situations where they asked, Erik Ten Hag, how they adapt into it. Is it one of those situations where you need to sort of keep an eye on it? Would you need to intervene at any point or anything like that? And Erik Ten Hag was just very much sort of on the lines of he's not surprised about it. He fully expected these players to make the national teams and really get in there. And then it was one of those situations where they've been adapting really quickly all season and sort of taking on the role and fighting for that first team place, which is something that, to be fair, he planned for at the start of the season, barring a Kobbie Mainoo injury, which then meant we kind of scrambled to get Mount in, which may have been the plan anyway, to get on the centre mid, but it put a little bit more pressure on, and then Mount got injured, and all that debacle happened. And then he said that, expected it. It's a great compliment for the Man United Academy to have all these young players coming out of the academy and sort of starting for the national teams, which is true, and he said their attitudes deserved it. And that's the big one, isn't it? We've seen youth talent come out of our academy that look like world-class potential players. And just the talent was there, but the attitude was, shall we say, either lacking or unprofessional, is what I would say. Both on the field and maybe potentially some of those off the field, unfortunately, when referring to players like Mason Greenwood, which is a real shame of what happened with him. And I don't know if we'll ever see him play for Man United again, to be quite frank. But he was asked about the hype, and all he said was, so far they're handling it really well. He spoke specifically about Mainoo, but it applied to both of them. And he said that, if he crosses the line, we'll interfere, but that's not needed at the moment. They're doing everything professionally and everything the way they're supposed to be. And then there was a real focus on the whole rumour mill, or pushing Gareth Southgate all of a sudden to be, not England manager, be Man United manager as the next manager. I love how all this is being pushed towards Man United, but Liverpool, who don't have a manager at the end of the season, no mention there of Southgate going there. Partly because Man United makes headlines, let's be honest. So that happened, and it was one of those situations where, he just sort of brushed it off. He said, pause, time out. Rewind back to Southgate. Southgate was asked about this with England, and he did answer professionally. All he said was, it would be disrespectful to discuss Man United whilst Erik Ten Hag is the Man United manager. Fair play. Didn't sort of shoot down any of the rumours, and not that he'd want to, because at the end of the day he's potentially out of a job at the end of the summer because he's moving on from England, which I think is a good thing for England. Don't get me wrong. Don't even get me started there with Southgate and England and how I feel. Yeah, we've got one of the best young generations and best talented international teams in the world, and we can't win a trophy still. And we've been to the finals and we threw it away, and went to the semis and played defensive football against the club, leaving our most informed player on the bench. Like, don't even get me started. But moving on from that, Ten Hag just responded with, it's Man United. There's always going to be links, and he even said, "You, the media, like this." Of course they do. It creates clicks for them, creates attention, creates views. It creates all of that for them. So at the end of the day, they're going to want to push any agenda that they can that is either anti-United, or create some form of drama. Because at the end of the day, that's what sells. And that's just the truth. And he said, "I'm focused on the team and making sure that we are performing on the pitch and nothing else." And that's what he said. And he said, "I don't care." Straight up, he does not care. Which, for me as a fan, is quite reassuring in the sense of, he's focused on his football. And of course, the noise and the players will hear it, but he's almost saying we rise above it all. We focus on our game. And we're out to qualify for the Champions League, and we're out to win a trophy, and we're out to do all of those things that we, the Man United fans, want to hear that we're doing, But at the end of the day, right now, what stands in our way today, a late kickoff at 8 p.m, is Thomas Frank's Brentford. And you know what? They have not been in great form, but that doesn't mean anything. And we'll just go through a little bit in terms of formations of what they do. They tend to play the 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2, but then the 3-5-2 is almost created to compact the midfield and sort of more defensive shape, which sort of tries to cancel the opponent out. Now, they're playing at home, so I don't see them playing a defensive game. I see them wanting to go and win, because I don't think the Brentford fans will accept sitting back at home. So they're going to have to go out and play. If you compare the two in terms of goals scored, well, we scored 39 in the Premier League, they've scored 41. So they've actually scored 2 more goals than us in the Premier League. Yet they are 16th, and we are 15th, and we are 6th, which is crazy. It shows that they're just conceding a lot more goals than we are. And we obviously have a few games where we conceded a lot of goals, which pushed up our goals conceded. Goals conceded, we're on 39, so we're currently on 0 goals in terms of for or against. They've conceded 54, which again shows that they're quite vulnerable at the back, and they can be exposed to goals, which is great for our attackers, especially if our attackers are going to get chances, which I suspect we are on the counter-attack. But the concerning thing is they still score goals. So if we give them opportunities, they're still going to score goals. You know what I mean? So we need to be quite compact at the back and make sure we're not hit on the counter-attack or anything like that, I expect to have lots of chances during the game. I expect Brentford at home I expect them to score a goal today. It's whether or not we can match that and score more. And that's what we're looking to exploit. In terms of form, United's last 5, 3 wins, 2 losses. United's away... this is incorrect. I do apologise. United's last 5 is 4 wins and 1 loss, I believe. And the away games in the Premier League, I believe we've got 4 wins out of the last 5. I do apologise. I just realised I didn't look that up. But Brentford themselves have got 0 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. And this is quite... not exciting, because I never want to say I'm excited by another team not performing well. But what I would say, it gives us a bit of hope. Gives us hope that we can start to maintain that run of form or the momentum gained by that Liverpool win, and sort of go on a bit of a run now where we're sort of winning a few games. And then the last home games is 1 loss, 1 win, 2 draws, 2 losses. Again, not a great run of form, but it's one of those situations where, we do want to see, we want to add to that misery. I'm not going to lie to you. Why am I going to sugarcoat it? We want to win today. We want to win comfortably, start getting some goals into our goal difference, which might make a difference later down the line. Bit too late for that, I think, in this season, but you never know, right? And then the last 10 between us is 8 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Now, in terms of that loss, it was last year, away from home, playing in London. So we cannot take for granted that just because they're on a poor run of form, that we're going to walk in there and just win this game, because that's not what's going to happen. We need to bring our A game. But in terms of the squad itself, some promising news coming back in terms of the squad. Martinez is back in training. He is scheduled to play a part in today's game, whether that's a start or off the bench. I don't know. I don't know if it's too soon for him to start or not. But Martinez coming back is bloody good news for us. That guy is our leader on the pitch. He demands high standards, and that's what I expect from him if he is playing today. In terms of Casemiro himself, he is back too, back in training a couple of days ago, and they're going to check on him, to see whether or not he's ready to play, which was, from what I've heard or what I've read, it's 75-25 whether or not he does play. So it's promising that he will start and he will play, but we're not sure if he's ready or not, or whether you want to risk a player like Casemiro because he is quite injury prone. In terms of players that are still out, you got Maguire still out with a muscle injury. Luke Shaw obviously has had his woes this year, but he's expected back before the end of the season, which is good. Evans has got a bit of a strain, muscle injury too, so he's going to be out for the game, but he potentially might be on the bench. Martial apparently is back training, but is not training with the team yet, so promising news there. At the end of the day, Martial is going to leave on a free transfer in the summer. It just is what it is, And Malacia still injured, still no information back. Obviously, Mason Mount came back for the last game, played a little bit of a role, which was good. And then just obviously Traore, the hero of that Old Trafford battle against Liverpool, is suspended for taking off his t-shirt and celebrating the last minute goal. I mean, I'm not even mad at the kid at this point. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I get that the emotions got the most of you. Like, it's cool. It's cool. We forgive you. We forgive you. Thank you for being our hero on that day. In terms of the starting lineup, what I would go with, Onana in goal. I think at this point he picks himself. His form has been decent. Still feels like he's got a mistake in him, and that's the bit of a concern. But it's all right. I think out of our goalkeeping options right now, I think Bayern has also got a bit of a knock and an injury, so I'm unsure if he's even fit to be on the bench. So I expect Tom Heaton to maybe be on the bench today. But Onana will start today. It picks himself. In defensive line, I would go with Diego Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the wing-back positions. I thought they did decently against Liverpool. Were they amazing? No. But they did well enough to sort of battle it out with those wingers who are, let's be honest, Mo Salah and Luis Diaz are two of the top wingers in the Premier League, and these guys went and had a battle with them and didn't make it easy for them. And then in centre-back, obviously you got Varane, who's been in a good run of form, and then I put Garnicero, who's back. I put the Butcher of Old Trafford, used to be the Butcher of Amsterdam, but of Ajax, sorry. And then one of our leaders on the pitch, and I'm so excited to have this guy back, which is Martinez. Licha is an absolute beast for us, and it cannot be underestimated the impact that he has on the team. Now, my only question is he fit to start? Is he ready to be in the starting lineup? Look, he was training a couple of weeks ago with the squad, went over with Argentina, was training with Argentina, so it's not like he hasn't been getting up to Mark's sharpness. It's whether or not he is ready to start. That's the question. In front of them, I've gone with Mainu and McTominay today. I thought about Mount potentially being ready to start. I think he's been out for a very long time, so I wouldn't risk it. I think Mainu picks himself at this point. Casemiro, not sure if he's fully fit. I probably wouldn't take the risk on him, but I don't see what he's like in training, so he may be ready, And I feel like McTominay played a really good game against Liverpool. I thought he actually was involved in the game, not just in terms of like goals and assists and things like that, which is what we normally get out of him. He actually fought in midfield. He actually, got forward, got back. He gave it pretty much everything, and I think that's part of the whole coming from the Man United academy mentality that against Liverpool we, give it our all. I just want to see that from him on a weekly basis, every game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those where I just want to see him do that non-stop. And hopefully today we'll see much of the same from him, and see what we get there. In front of them, I'm going to go with Bruno. Bruno at Old Trafford against Liverpool. What can I say other than what he was everywhere? He was tackling. He was spreading the ball. He kept the ball well. He ended up playing at centre-back, for crying out loud. And it was almost like it almost looked like in this game, realistically, we are not on the level of Liverpool, Arsenal and City right now. We haven't been this year anyway, should I say. Are we improving? Yes, 100%. Could we be there in a couple of years? Yeah, 100%. I do believe that. There's going to be a rebuild, which is going to take a bit of time, but give it 2 more seasons, and I don't see why we can't be there. But it's almost like a revival of form from Bruno lately, and we've seen him sort of come back to sort of elevating his play. And I think a lot of it has to do with having, like I said previously, players like Casemiro and Maino behind him that cover for him, which means that he can get forward. But then what we saw against Liverpool was him flipping the switch and him playing the defensive role. He almost sat at the back and started pinging the ball across the pitch. Played at centre back, which is crazy. I mean, credit to Eric Ten Hag, he got it spot on. It paid off. Risky, but it paid off, and that's all that matters. So Bruno picks himself. Well, he always picks himself. He's a captain, isn't he? But this is one of those times where I'm like excited to see what he brings to the team's day. Wingers, I think again pretty simple. I think our wingers are currently nailed on, which is Rashi down the left and Garnacho down the right wing. Rashi's got 3 and 3. I also think that he was left out of the England squad, wasn't he? He played like 15 minutes over the 2 games, and I think Rashford's going to come out with a point to prove. He's got from now to the end of the season to sort of find top form and show Southgate that he should be, forget being in that starting lineup, that he should be on that plane to the Euros this summer. And if I were him, I'd be doing everything I could to bang as many goals as I could from now to the end of the season, and really catch form to show Southgate, like, hold on a second, listen, I'm someone that you seriously need to consider. Looking at Anthony Gordon, I thought he didn't play too well against Brazil. He almost looked like a dog on a leash, like muffled, like had no teeth to him. And even looking at Jared Bowen looked a little bit better, to be fair. But Rashford's a better player than Bowen. It's just that, unfortunately, Rashford is inconsistent at the moment. And he's not the Rashford of last year. That we saw and that we saw post-World Cup. So I want to see a bit more from Rashford, but I have a feeling that we're going to get that today. And then obviously Garnacho's just a threat at all times. Looks deadly, looks like he's going to really sort of go at teams. And then up front, obviously we've got our boy Højlund back. We need to get him a goal today. We do. We need to get him back to scoring goals. I think that he was on a great run before his injury. He's just come back from his injury, played the Liverpool game, obviously. But I would love to see him get a goal today. So to get back to scoring ways and see if he can keep that good run of scoring pretty much every game going. The only thing I could see Eric Ten Hag maybe swapping is Lindelof starting at centre-back. Obviously, Maguire's injured. If Lisandro isn't ready, if Licha isn't ready to start, I could see Lindelof starting them, and I would keep my wing-backs as they are. And then I could see possibly Casemiro starting if he is ready instead of McTominay. Those are the 2 changes that I could see happening. And to be fair, we had Casemiro and Martinez in the squad. I would say that's probably our strongest starting lineup, other than maybe getting Luke Shaw back at left back and pushing Dalot to right back. I would say that's probably our strongest lineup that we have at the moment in our squad, which we haven't had all season. But it's promising for us. Moving on from there, guys. Right, the game. I fully suspect Brentford to try to use us as a launch pad for them to gain some momentum and sort of climb the table. The international break is often a banana peel to a lot of teams. Let's just not make it one of ours. Let's make sure that we are sort of hitting the ground running again. The break hasn't affected us, and that we are basically going for it. We need to win to create some momentum towards the end of the season. We've got some tough games coming up. We've still got Arsenal. We've still got Liverpool. We've got Chelsea coming up next. We need a win. We need a win. It's as simple as that. We need 3 points. That's a non-negotiable. So we need to do whatever we have to do to win the game today. I suspect Brentford will come out strong. I do. And we'll need to either weather the storm or pin them back. One or the other. I suspect they will try to impose themselves because they're the home team. But quite frankly, I can also see us trying to dominate the game and them hitting us on the counter-attack. Which brings me to my 3 things and my predicted score. And I'll go with my predicted score first. I think that we will get the job done today. I think we've been on a good run of form. I don't think Brentford have been. And I think that we could really expose them today. And that's what I'm hoping will happen. So my predicted score is 3-1 to Manchester United today. It's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy. I'm telling you that now. I could see them maybe starting in a 4-3-3 and then shift into a 3-5-2. If they get a goal, they will definitely shift to a 3-5-2 and use the two wingers as wing backs, almost like a 5-3-2 sort of formation. And even at times I've had the striker drop down a bit deeper and sort of play like an intermediate role right behind the focal point striker, which has been Ivan Toney. I would say my focuses, or three focuses, would be set pieces. They're a great set piece team. They are, they've got size, strength, and they've got athletic guys in there that, will contest the ball and will win the ball. Good with the headers. And I would say that, we need our team to know their roles in set pieces and know who their man is and not lose the man. Don't fall asleep. Don't just focus on the ball. Make sure you track your man, track the runner, communicate with each other, and make sure that we're not exposed with set pieces. Second point is get the first goal. I know it sounds simple. I know it sounds pretty stupid, but get the first goal and then they will start pushing forward. And when they push forward, they will leave gaps at the back. And when they leave gaps at the back, we can exploit it with the pace. We're very good at teams that push onto us, at hitting them on the counter. And that's what we need to sort of focus on. But if we do concede that first goal, they're going to then shut up shop and go defensively and try to hit us on the counter. And that is dangerous for us. But what I would say, we do concede the first goal. No panic. We don't need to go within 3 minutes to go level with them. Just, calm, cool, composed, hit them back, make no mistakes. Okay? And then last but not least is, they've got some pace and they're quite an athletic team, aren't they, Brentford? Most London teams are, to be fair. They're quick on the counters, most Premier League teams are, to be fair to them. Quick on the counter, and I think that's one of those things where we need to make sure we don't get hit on the counter. Last year we lost 4-0 to them away, and we got found out. We got hit on the counter. It's as simple as that. We need to track back as a team. We cannot have passengers in any of our games at the moment. Every game is a final, as the manager keeps saying. We've got a big game with Spurs currently playing. They're playing right now, actually, as we speak. Last I checked, it was 1-1. Let's have a look. What do you reckon, guys? 1-1 still? Yeah, with the own goal, wasn't it? That got the equaliser. Yeah. Apparently it was a peach of a goal, though. Yeah, but it looks like it's still 1-1. You know what I mean? But Spurs are putting the pressure on. Hopefully that can end 1-1 and it's 15 minutes left, and they can drop some points. That would be great for us today. And you also got Villa playing later today. And we need to make sure that we're not dropping any points and we're keeping the pressure up on them. And we're really pushing on to sort of make sure that we can do everything we can do, basically, to catch them. If we drop points, we're out of the race. It's as simple as that. Either way, I'll see you tonight for the post-match review. Thanks so much for watching. Liverpool fans, I was just kidding before earlier. I would never rub in your face that we beat you and knocked you out of the FA Cup. I would never say to you that we stopped your quadruple. I would never say to you that on Klopp's quadruple final season, the dream died when you played Man United.